Seriously, you're still here. Shit. May you live in interesting times. It is being said that this is one of the oldest Chinese curses and one of the worst ones you can tell to someone. And shit, do we live in interesting times? We do, don't we? Well, take a cloud, for example. Who heard something about cloud? Okay, and the rest is, and the rest never raise hands publicly, right? Okay. So, life was much simpler in terms of security back then, before the whole cloud boom. This is a symbol, and this is a sound, this is a symbol of simpler times, Just imagine that every single beer here is a separate server, for example, a separate database server. If I will have a security breach in one of them, well, it might be a tragedy, but maybe not necessarily as great tragedy as destroying all of them, right? And at one point, engineers started to realize that the servers are huge and powerful machines. And they thought, well, my resources are wasted. So let's start a consolidation. And, well, they started to build virtual machines or put multiple databases on the same servers, but it was going slowly, in a controlled way, managed by technical people. And then some genius from marketing came with the word cloud. Consolidation is a very long word, complicated. A lot of managers of higher level fall asleep in the middle of the word. But cloud, oh shit. It's new. It's mystery. It's something foggy and fluffy. And I like cloud. It's a short word. I want to have cloud. So right now, everyone, each company, everywhere, at the high management wants to have cloud. Public cloud, private cloud, doesn't matter. Just, we as engineers, we tried to take off signs from server rooms and replace server room with word private cloud. And it worked for a little time until sales from other companies, like for example Oracle, came and started to explain. And the consolidation started to be really, really serious thing. Because if you say cloud, if you hear cloud, you should really think consolidation. And so consolidation means I have something fucking powerful, like big server, Exadata, or a cluster of virtual machines, and I'm putting stuff inside. So I'm consolidating a databases, and I have a very nice, powerful package. And the resources here are shared, and everything is together in a simple way. It's cheaper because I'm sharing costs of licenses together in one package. Who likes this package? Well, almost everyone. Who wants this package? Hey, you were first, I think. Or you were first. Who was? You were first. Okay. So this is yours. From scale 1 to 10, how do you appreciate this kind of consolidation? 10. Okay. So let's make a security problem. And now, But you're a little bit sad, don't you? Okay, so look, it's natural for us that, well, if I give you something like that, you might want to open one like right now, and well, I don't blame you. I'd like to also. But, well, it's natural to think that, well, one is messed up, I don't know which, and, well, maybe you still value it for 10, but you hesitate. Okay, but I'm not a monster, you know, I will exchange it for a good one. You know, we have to protect our environment, not to break it. So, yeah, this is for you. This is your consolidation, your platform. Enjoy it. You can share. And, you know, the same thing goes with databases. Well, not only databases, but all kinds of consolidated environments. We put stuff together and we tend to not think about, well, problems of each individual, in this case, a database. Too many privileges in one database can lead to fuck up the whole environment. And I'd love to show you how easy it can be. And I want to tell you who is responsible for the security problems. Well, okay, spoiler alert, I am, you are. Who is developer here? Nice. Is it easy to develop application if you have DBA? Of course it's easy. And those bastards, DBAs, they don't want to give us the privileges. Burn them! And, you know, what I will show you right now, it happened with real customer in Poland. They consolidated 60 productional databases in one Exadata. And I was simulating that I was from a company who won, you know, a public, a public tender. Love me, tender. And I asked local administrators for privileges. And I said, give me DBA. For one of the databases, it was a separate database. No. Okay, so I listed all the privileges the DBA has and sent the list of the privileges. And they said, well, no, fuck you. You have to, you know, somehow remove a few privileges. And, well, okay, I removed 3 or 4 and sent list another one. And after a week, it was tough and hot, but I managed to get one of the privileges I really, really, really liked. And this privilege was very easy very easy to justify why I wanted. It was create an index on 11.203 database and analyze any. Why I want those privileges? I want to tune my database, of course. I have to have create an index. I have to have analyze any. It's obvious. And okay, it's been a week. It's been a tough week. And we came to agreement that they will give me this, but those will be the only privileges with any word in them. And it was their mistake. So now I'd like to show you how easy it is in a non-patched environment to escape from a database, to escape from your schema to another schemas, and from a database to operating system user account, and from operating system user account on Linux to root. So enough with the slides. So I will leave the slides, to the organizers. So okay, you can use them later. So do you see something? Yeah. Is it quite good? Okay. Yeah. Love the screens here. I have to do it in my home. Okay. So let's create a standard, a regular application user. This is Enterprise Edition 11.204 database. Standard installation from the BCA. Just clicked, like most of the installations. So let's create a standard user. Let's call it. Well, in Poland, if I don't know how to name something, I just name it dupa. And I think you know what it means, because, come on, we have a little bit similarity between our languages. So let's leave it like this. S. Okay. Yeah. And let's grant some privileges, like grant, create session, resource, and create any and shit. Wait a minute. I need a power resource. Well, I was aiming for water, but the lights. And a wise man said once, in wine is truth, in beer is wisdom, in water are bacteria. And shit. Okay, I took this one, right? I took the. If I will break something, I will buy it back. No worries. Okay. Okay, I really need a little bit of wisdom right now. And come on, it's 6 o'clock. Create an index to APPS, to DUPA. This is my user, yeah. So I will connect to user DUPA. Those are my privileges. So as you can see, I'm not cheating. I have the only any privilege here is create an index. And if I would like to access, for example, to employees from HR schema, I will see, I will see niewystarczające uprawnienia. So insufficient privileges, Christian. So I will see insufficient privileges. Yes, okay, everything works so far. So what can I do with create an index right now? If I can literally create an index in the database, the most simple vector for an attack is, to force a powerful user to execute something that I will create. And, well, let me create a very simple function. Yeah, more wisdom. More wisdom, yeah. Very nice. I will go back to that. Auth ID, current user, pragma, autonomous. It's a hard word, transaction, even harder than consolidation. Execute immediate. X, return X, because it's a function, and correct errors. Yeah, I have a function created. It's funny that, well, I have niewystarczające uprawnienia, but I don't have funkcja została stworzona. So I have function created. What I will do with it? If I can force a powerful user to execute this function with appropriate input, well, it will execute immediate, for example, grant, well, select in a table or something like that. How to do it? Well, what are powerful users you can think about just like that? What? Yeah, so system, right? So from 11G, creating anything in sys schema from other schemas, even if you have create any, is impossible. But we still have system. And after a little bit of looking inside, you will notice that user system has a table called OL$. Have you ever used stored outlines? Have you heard about stored outlines? Stored outlines were popular, for example, in database 9 and back for plan stability. They are deprecated right now because we have SQL profiles, we have SQL baselines, we have SQL patches, and a lot of other features that help us to stabilize our execution plans. But before that, we were using stored outlines, and a stored outline is just a list of hints that will be added to a query while execution to stabilize a plan. And if you created such an outline, and if you wanted to edit an outline, you had appropriate packages that put data into global temporary tables. Then you could edit those global temporary tables, correct hints, and said, well, commit, and the hints were remembered, permanently. And one of those interface tables is system OL$. So what I'm going to do, I will grant execute on fgetprefs to system. And since this is auth_id current user and pragma deterministic and autonomous transaction, well, what feature can I use combined with an index to make escalation? Function-based index, correct. So create index system OL$ spare x on system OL$ dupa f get prefs spare 2. I have function-based index, and from here, very simple. This is global temporary table used as an interface table to edit something. So all privileges for this global temporary table are granted to public. So from scratch, just right now, I have a privilege to insert something. That's it. Here I am. I escaped my schema. Just like that. This kind of escalation is impossible in 12c, by the way, because they add a new privilege called inherit privileges. And auth_id current user is not working just like that anymore. You have to have additional privileges. So if you will migrate to 12c, and you will be fucking angry and furious because, well, part of your application is not working anymore because auth_id current user is not working anymore, well, don't be. it's really because of that. Because, well, pranks like me. And so, okay, I escaped my schema. What? So what? For example, this is a consolidated environment. I have access to my database. This is my database. There are no other schemas than my schema. So what? Well, I will go for more fun privilege, because select any table, it's boring. My favorite privilege is create any directory. This is my favorite. Why? Let's see. I have open SSH port to this server. Of course, if I'm trying to log in, it will ask me for a password. I don't know password. Multiple tries will alert a system administrator. So, but I'm thinking this is a standard appliance, a standard installation. What is the name of the user that owns Oracle binaries? What is the path to the darkness? What is the path to home directory of Oracle user on Linux /home/Oracle? So where will be a directory containing authorization keys for SSH? .ssh authorized keys. And I have created a directory. Yeah, that's cool. So you want password, right? No problem, easy peasy. I have here generated RSA keys, public and private. And on my database, I will create or replace directory dir ssh as /home/oracle.ssh. So I will create very simple anonymous block with my key. This is my key. And yep, copy, paste. So v file, utl file, fopen, dir ssh, authorized keys, it's another hard word, append. I don't want to, ruin someone's logins. I just want to make my life better, not to screw anybody else's life. No, we established already I'm not a monster. I took the fault on me. So, util file, put line, v file, rsa, utl file, fclose, and end. Too small. It's not. Come on, it's not a software. That will stay somewhere. So now what? Verbose, building attention. Come on, I'm here. What the fuck just happened? So I'm here at Oracle user. I can do whatever I want. So I can check what other instances are running. I have operating system authorization. I'm there. Well, you could say, well, this is easy to protect. We will blacklist all inappropriate IPs for logging through SSH. right? So I will have only whitelist of IPs that will be allowed to query SSH, or like hardening of operating system is also trivial. Well, let's put this aside for a moment, because in a minute I will show you more funny way to execute anything or operating system. But let's assume right now that I'm here, I'm at the operating system level, and for example, someone was not very nice to me and decided to put different instances on different operating system users. I don't have my authorization anymore to everything. I'd like to go and grab a root. It would be nice. So, okay, if I am not responsible for patching my own operating systems, but for example, someone else is responsible and they forget or not be able to patch my kernel regularly with vulnerabilities, with bugs, then I have a serious problem. Have you heard about, wait a minute, have you heard about security problem called a dirty cow? Nice name, dirty cow. Who heard about the dirty cow? Okay, it works, yeah. So look, I'm your father. So, sorry, it's late, you know. Dirty cow, it literally is dirty cow, is a problem in Linux kernel. In which Linux kernel? Well, all of them, in all distributions, up to the last month of last year, 2016. And it was discovered by this guy who was working on performance of copy on write feature. That's why cow, copy on write. Copy on write is a mechanism used for snapshots. So basically, if I want to create a snapshot of something on my operating system, I take a file, a read-only file, for example, for me read-only. I will take it, I will copy it into my memory. If I will modify it, I will modify just a part of it, put a link to original file, and I will write only a delta, a modification that I did that is writable by me. So I can modify a parts of data, never touching the original file. And someone said, well, okay, let's try to check what is the performance of this. And this guy created two parallel threads. One thread was telling, okay, give me a file in copy on write mode and modify it. And another thread in the same time is instrumenting kernel, I don't need this anymore. I don't need this memory anymore. So I wanted to, oh no, give me, oh, give me. Or, no. And well, I will spill on myself eventually, right? So the left side wants different thing, the right side wants a different thing, and kernel goes crazy in one moment. It is being called a racing condition. Two threads are instrumenting kernel to do different things at a time. And in one point, Linux kernel will redirect write to original file, which shouldn't be allowed. So how it works? Well, you just type in Google dirty cow and you find very nice C program. It's the whole exploit, you know? It's everything. with comments. It's like 115 lines of code with a lot of comments. And I have added to this only one little line, this one. So I add just line, enter a new line at the end. That was it. So what can I do with it? Right now, I can't log into root because it asks me for a password. So, well, there is this file called etc passwd, and here, if this X is in here, the user is password protected. If I would be able to remove this mark, I would be able to log into root without any password. But right now, VI will tell me changing a read-only file because I don't have permissions to change this file. Thank you for Dirty Cow, though. So this is how it looks like. Modify. Try to modify in copy on write mode this password file and try to put this line at the beginning of the file. Go. Since this is racing condition, I will have to wait a little bit. I think it's enough. You can't wait too long because it can lead to kernel panic and someone will notice that something is happening. We don't want that. And what has happened? My file that was read-only was modified. And now I'm root. Without password, I can do anything. Right now, I have absolute power on this machine. And this specific Dirty Cow problem was in all kernels since like bunch of years, a lot of years. They found that it was in all kernels for like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. And it was published in the last quarter of 2016. And you could patch it in the last quarter of 2016. Pretty neat, huh? Okay, but let's go back a little bit. Let's say that I couldn't log in to operating system through SSH. Well, actually, it's better for me because what I'm going to do next will leave less trails. What I did right now was actually sending alerts all the way around. Well, someone's logged in. Someone is root. Whoa, whoa, hey, what's going on? I am leaving stuff in bash history, and well, everyone can see what I'm doing. So, what if I could simulate that Oracle binary is doing all those stuff? What if I could force Oracle to execute operating system commands in a way it does normally? No one would notice. And in 11G, Oracle introduced one of my favorite features, not because of security problems, one of my favorite features regarding, well, regular programmistic life, preprocessor for external tables. Why it is my favorite? Because, well, I use external tables a lot. Who is using external tables? Okay, and who of you used preprocessor? Okay, I recommend you to check out the preprocessor functionality. It's really cool. Because if you have a large text file to load, You know, the text files are very, very compress. Yeah, they can be very small after compression. So you can compress a file, a text file, and in a preprocessor in external table, you can say, okay, so preprocess this compressed file with this script, which will uncompress it and send uncompressed data to standard output, and Oracle will read it after the compression. So if you will query external table with a preprocessor, Oracle will execute at the operating system level something like preprocessor, and as a first argument, it will give a path to a file that was compressed. This was the intention. But what if I could create anywhere in the file system my own file, which will be a script, and a preprocessor will be, for example, bash? If I will be able to force Oracle to do this, Oracle will execute bash space and the path to my script. And it will put all the outputs to the standard output, and I will be able to query external table and see the output from script. Sounds cool? TMP. Why/TMP? Well, no one cares about this directory, you know. There are a lot of garbage. We just ignore it. We don't want to know what's going on in there. And why/bin? Well, in this directory are cool binaries I want to use. All cool stuff, all the toys are there. So this anonymous block will create a file. The file looks like this. It is in /tmp aura log.log. So what this file will do? How often you can see this kind of Oracle home who has different Oracle home than U01, okay, and who has this kind of Oracle home? Yeah, don't be afraid. I'm not going to go to your company and do something about it. I don't have such a powers. So if you have this kind of Oracle home, I can guess, right? It's a pretty good guess. I know how to set a path variable because it's, well, always the same. And I will use, I will try to guess Oracle seed. Maybe I will guess it, maybe not, because I can know only service name. And I will try to log in through SSH with operating system authorization and do something on a database. And in case I would guess this stuff wrong, I will also check the contents of Aura tab to see what was installed on the machine. So how to do it? How to execute? Well, we will create external table. And look, preprocessor, bash, and a file, my file that I just created. So if I will query this, I will see nothing. SQL plus, command not found. I messed up something with my paths. So I have to keep looking. Well, not to bore you. Well, I know that I maybe bored you a little, but not to bore you too much. I will just set already the appropriate paths. And it's in here. Dum-ta-dum. And dum-ta-dum. Thank you. No, I did it on purpose to check if you're, listening. But yeah, still, thank you. Go. And again, select star asterisk or obelix from here. Much better, isn't it? This is the output from a table, and I will see here, look, logged in as SQL Plus, user altered, user created, grant succeeded, list of files from the home directory, and then the contents of etc or tab. Everything works. So I was able to execute whatever I wanted from a preprocessor. Are you happy? Are you thinking, shit, what are the privileges in my application? Fuck, have I consolidated something recently? Oh, wait a minute. Is it public? Yeah, is it known? Yes, it is known. It is public. Actually, I'm not the first person I think I'm not the first person who came out with this, because come on, there are real hackers in the world. I'm not one of them. I'm just a regular DBA. So this is kind of scary, right? Well, I'd like to tell you that this preprocessor trick is not working in 12c, but I can't tell you this because it is. So create any directory is really serious privilege. Actually, any privileges with any in them are really problematic. So really, next time, if someone will tell you you shouldn't add any privilege, well, don't treat it as just, something someone wrote as a good practice. You really fucking shouldn't give any privileges because it can be dangerous. You might say right now that, well, it's pure Oracle fault that this exists. But think about it. You are also developers. And the database is also a product that is being developed by someone, pushed because of, deadlines. Not tested good enough, maybe. And think about it. If you will create an application, whatever application, that is running with root privileges on your operating system, is it Linux fault that you can turn off the system, or is it your fucking fault? I think it's my fault. So actually, it's only my fault, and it's only my responsibility to think about the security if I am creating something. You always should think as a bad person would. So you have to become a thief. You always should think as a thief. I know how it sounds like, but, well, alcohol helps a little bit. I know water doesn't help. Okay, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm just from Poland, so it is. So, really, right now, these days, when you hear a lot that DBAs are no longer needed, developers can do stuff just by drag and drop, and you don't have to think on stuff like how many bytes is signed integer or unsigned integer, or how are the data stored at the low level, and what is going on in the operating system. Bullshit. now, here, right now, we are living in times when you have to think about it with double strength. In the times of consolidation, in times of clouds, in the times of Dockers, in the times of sharing resources, you should know that everything is like a domino. One good push in the right direction can fuck, thank you, the whole environment. And, well, maybe you would like to be the guy who will say, ah, look, mommy, you seen this security breach in a bank, in the national bank? That was me. You know, it's this kind of fame I think you would like to avoid. So I just want to leave you with a quote by Terry Pratchett that the real stupidity will always defeat artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Okay, maybe some questions? I have one. Can I take this beer?
Yes, of course. Here you are.
Thank you.
Okay, I will give some PDFs. It will be shown in here. You can also check out the blog RA600PL. And, well, I really like to thank you that you are here, although this is the last session. And, yeah, thank you to the organizers for having me here.
What went wrong yesterday?
Well, I had to switch with my friend who was here because he had a family problem. He had to go home, and we just swapped because he had to go home today in the morning. So thank you very much again. You will see more in my blog, and, well, if I'm allowed to, maybe I can invite you also to Poland because, well, we just are trying to learn to do this kind of conferences. And, well, I'm really happy that I can be here and learn from, you know, this conference, this community, and we'll try to implement some stuff learned here in Poland. So, yeah, just check out blog and POUG. It's Pint with Oracle Users Group. It's not necessarily Polish. And if you have more questions, for example, about our conference and community, there is Luisa. Luisa, show yourself. She's managing our Polish group with me. We also have women in IT, not only you. Yeah, and I will be here. I will be here till the end of me today.
Okay, so bad news that it's the last one presentation, but we have closing ceremony. So see you on room 10. Bye.